We are definitely going to be looking at an explosion in commodities-backed self-managed super funds. I don't think people realise how much danger their pension funds, 401ks and superannuation funds are in. Critics of the Labor government have already been quick to label this unrealised gains tax on superannuation as an economy killer. When you think about the amount of work and effort that mums and dads put into superannuation in order to have a relaxing and comfortable retirement, and yet here we are in 2025 and the Australian government is effectively elected to steal funds from people's superannuation in the form of unrealised capital gains. An unrealised capital gains tax is simply a taxation on an increase in an investment that hasn't been sold yet. In other words, you haven't benefited from it yet, unlike the sale of an asset. But the Labor government doesn't really care about that. They are looking to derive $9.6 billion from current superannuation unrealised gains. This is why we advocate a position in self-managed super funds. If you were sitting in an industry super fund, you would be subject to the full force of taxation under this unrealised capital gains. Moving to a self-managed super fund is not an insurance package against taxation, but what it does do is it reverses the reporting requirements rather than sit in an industry super fund and be subject to instant taxation. When you are in monetary commodities and assets such as Bitcoin, you are largely in control of those assets. This is exactly the sort of position that people need to consider, in my opinion. Self-managed super funds are an instrument of the Australian Taxation Office. My company, Beat the Reset, can connect you instantly with accountants that can transition you out of superannuation and into a physical monetary commodities-backed and digital assets-backed self-managed super fund. Once again, self-managed super funds are not protection against unrealised capital gains, but it does give you an element of autonomy and it reduces your counterparty risk. In addition to that, monetary commodities have enormous upside. So too do digital assets, especially in the decentralized space, assets such as Bitcoin. There are 3 different services that Beat the Reset offer in this area. Number 1, we provide consultations. Number 2, we allocate an accountant to transition you from superannuation and to set up your self-managed super fund, either as a company or as a trust. And thirdly and finally, we can allocate the assets that you require to fill your self-managed super fund. Our 2 favourite asset classes are physical gold 999, physical silver 999, which are monetary commodities, and of course Bitcoin. We are about to see an explosion in self-managed super funds. The legislation for unrealised capital gains tax has already passed the House of Representatives. It now sits before the Senate. The proposal is to launch the tax on the 1st of July, which doesn't give people much time. You have approximately 3 months before the Labor government introduces unrealised capital gains taxes on superannuation funds. Make good choices.